All right, today's guest is an actor, a retired bodybuilder, and after 38 years has retired from serving in the Canadian military. Welcome to the Absolute Podcast, Chris Beckingham.
Thanks, Mitch.
No problem. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you. So glad to have you part of the show.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of unique.
Yeah.
So, how I figured who you were, I mean, other than through family, was through your Advil commercials.
The Advil guy.
The Advil guy.
Yeah.
So if anybody doesn't know, go on a YouTube channel called Alan C. Beckingham, and you can see a few Advil commercials that you might have seen in your childhood.
Yeah, well, you probably saw him on TV.
True, yeah, on TV, which doesn't exist now. Nobody watches TV.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Mind you, for all these people that don't watch TV, you'd be surprised how many people called me or sent me email messages. Hey, I just saw your commercial on TV.
No, does it still air?
No. I was really fortunate because the last one that I did, because of COVID and the pandemic, they just kept running it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was 2-3 years old and I was still getting royalties.
That's crazy. So as long as it's playing, you're still getting money coming in?
Yeah.
But it's not being played anymore? No. Oh, okay. So some places work like that where it's like it will be off air, but you're still making royalties off a show or off a...
Well, if it was still airing, they would have to pay me. Yeah. They actually called me last August. They called me last August and asked if I wanted to do another one.
Wow.
I was like, well, I'm not in Toronto anymore. And, I put on a few pounds.
Yeah.
But it was nice to be thought of.
Yeah.
I gave him a name of a buddy of mine that I did another thing with.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
I don't know whether they ever got in touch with him, but
yeah,
he would have done a good job.
Yeah.
So.
What's it like being on set for like a commercial? Is it very like it's like kind of go in there, get the job done type thing?
Well, I got to tell you, the first time I was ever actually on the set, it was really weird because it was I didn't know what to expect, and it was very peek behind the curtain sort of
feel to it.
Yeah, because you were seeing. Like the first one I did, the arm wrestle one and the metal puppy one.
Metal puppy. It's a puppy.
Yeah, puppy. Well, when I did that one, it looks like you're in the woods. Right?
Yeah, it's just a green screen.
No. They were in a sound stage and the trees that were standing there, they were the concrete sonotube, the cardboard thing, with bark taped to one side of it, and
that's so funny.
So it was like. The only thing that I think that was real on that was the tree stump, and I mean even the coconut was fake.
Yeah, I remember that you crushed the coconut.
Yeah, crushed the coconut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what they did is they cut all the guts out of the coconut, so all that was left was the outside of the shell.
Oh yeah.
Put a water balloon in it and used a hot glue gun to glue the pieces together, so I could crush it with a hand.
That's so unique. I was wondering because I was like, what are they using for a coconut here?
Well, it was a coconut, but I got to tell you that I'm right-handed. I was arm wrestling left.
Oh yeah.
And I'm holding the thing out like this, and I grabbed, and I squeezed it. I was going. Then they said, "Okay, squeeze." I went, nope.
I'm trying.
I'm trying to squeeze it.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So it was.
So the shell was still pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's so cool.
It was like you might want to take a little bit of that glue off of there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, maybe a bodybuilder, but But you were huge. You were swole in that.
Well, the thing was
were they giving you some weights to do a pump before you got on set too?
No.
You didn't have to do push-ups or anything?
No, not at all. And ironically enough, I did that commercial. A month and a half, 2 months after I just finished a competition. So I was still pretty lean.
Pretty lean, yeah.
I was pretty lean. I was down to about maybe 8 or 9% body fat. I always had a lot of trouble even competing, getting my body fat down.
That's the hardest part, right? Everybody tries to get conditioned.
I like food.
Yeah, that's. I like food to get big, but then I gotta stop eating food to get small. So,
but it was kind of neat. It was a neat opportunity, and I mean it was just blind stinking luck that I got it in the first place.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did they contact you through that?
Well, I guess in 2015, I had my spinal surgery done.
Yeah, your spinal
Yeah,
fusion.
I had a spinal fusion done. I had broke my back during the ice storm back in 98, 99, I can't remember now.
Was it like a flash freeze type storm?
No, no, it was, remember the big, well, actually, just before you were even born.
Yeah.
But it was they had a big ice storm across eastern Canada and eastern United States, and power was out and everything. Anyway, I was posted to Petawawa at the time, and I wiped out, and I landed smack on my back, and they said, "Oh, no, no, you didn't break your back. It's just a muscle." No,
Yeah.
turns out it was broken.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I lived with that for a number of years, and it was if you take a look at the spine, the little vertebrae, there's like a little piece that sticks out in the back, little.
Of each vertebrae?
Yeah, of each
yeah,
vertebrae.
I know. Yeah, it has like a little.
Yeah, yeah, little piece that comes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what broke off.
Oh, just the back
Yeah,
piece
just that
of it.
little back piece, but it was enough to screw
Weird.
everything up.
Because I was looking into spinal fusion before I came here, and
Yeah, yeah.
I just like a lot of them was if the bones cracked inside between like the cushion pads or like the actual vertebrae like slides
Well,
off it.
that's what happened as a result of that.
Oh, so it lost
But-
that back piece.
Yeah,
and
it
then
lost that back piece, everything, and it sort of slid a little bit.
shifted. Yeah.
So, I dealt with the pain for a while, but after a while, I was walking around, and I mean, I was working out, and I was
yeah.
training.
Well, I thought it was
weight-
from training.
No. I was weight training, and I was, but my back every freaking morning when I'd get up in the morning, oh, the pain in my back. And, I mean, even before I had been working out and stuff, it was always bothering me. Turns out that's why. Go figure.
Yep.
So, but anyway,
Crazy
I
that you dealt with that for years.
I
Like,
lived with it for years.
could you sleep on your back? Like, or
Yeah, because once it healed,
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
it healed improperly.
Yeah.
But
He
it's still healed.
gained bone.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, I had the surgery, and I was like, "Geez," I said, I was just getting ready for a competition before it happened. Like I was looking good. Anyway, that pretty much went out the window. The opportunity to go compete.
Yep.
But around, I guess it would be about September, I guess. Yeah, I guess about September, Sick Kids Hospital was doing their Sick Kids Versus campaign. And they were just looking for people to do stuff. And yeah, sure, why not? And good cause.
Right.
Anyway, I went and did that, and if you go on, you see the Sick Kids Versus commercial.
Okay.
You'll see me in there.
Cool.
But met a lot of really good people. They gave us like an honorarium, like I think it was $100 honorarium. They bought us lunch. Great.
Yeah. Whatever.
No, I didn't do it for the money or for
Right.
the food. I did it to
For support.
enjoy the opportunity to contribute.
Yep.
And as a thank you to all the people that were donating their time for this, the casting company gave our names out to a whole bunch of other casting companies.
Nice.
So I wasn't even really thinking about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I went up to Petawawa on exercise, and while I was up there, I got a phone call, and they asked if I wanted to fly out to Vancouver to do a commercial. I said, what?
Yeah.
I said, well, anyway, they wanted me to fly out there. I said, I can't. I'm serving military. I'm actually on exercise right now, so I can't really do it. They said, okay, no worries. So I guess about a month later, I got another phone call. Said, hey, you want to come down and audition for a commercial? And sure. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up down in downtown Toronto, and I went to the casting company. And there was a whole bunch of people that were there, and I mean, there were some freaking monsters. I didn't think of myself as being very big, but these guys, I was looking at them going, holy crap.
Yeah.
Apparently I was comparable, but I didn't see it that way.
Because what, you're 5'11".
Yeah,
and if these
5'11".
If these guys are taller than you, then they're usually bigger than you, right?
This is it. But I was about, well, I'm 5'10", 5'11". At the time I was about 265 pounds at about maybe about 8 or 9% body fat. So I was looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty jacked. Anyway, they called me in and they were doing stuff. They said, "Can you pretend you're bending a metal bar?" And I went, "Okay." And did all these things. And he goes,
"Did you like?
Well, just
did you dramatic?
Like
yeah.
Just to act like you're.
Yeah.
And they said, "Wow." They said, "Can you do any accents?" I said, "Accents?" He goes, German, Russian. I said, "Oh, I can do a German accent. I've been doing one ever since Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in Conan." They said, "Can you read that?" And I said, "I will cold and sinus." He said, "Oh," he said, "What about that one?" I said, "I will real strength to fight your cold symptoms." And he went, "Oh." Anyway, last I hear of it. I leave. About a week later, "Hey, can you come back for another audition?"
Isn't that weird that they don't tell you anything? They're just like, "Thank you very much," and then you leave.
Yeah.
No idea.
Well, that's just the way it is, right? Turns out I had already gotten the part.
No, yeah, they know right away.
Yeah,
they just leave the suspense for later.
The reason they had me go back was they wanted to see how I reacted and interacted with the guy who was going to play the ogre.
Oh.
Now...
Or the troll. Ogre?
Ogre. Well, it was an ogre. You call yourself an ogre?
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing is, they couldn't use him because the guy that I met at the callback he's the tallest man in Canada, and he is in the Guinness Book of World Records with the world's largest hands. Now, I got a picture, and I'll show you a picture later, but he put his hand up like this, and I put my hand up against his. My hand fit in the palm of his.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable. I was just like...
So why couldn't they use that, though?
They couldn't find a costume to fit him.
Oh, and they
couldn't find a costume. The guy who ended up doing the ogre was an actor. He was in like prosthetics and stilts and all that stuff, and that ended up being how they had used it because they couldn't find a costume to fit him.
Yeah,
so it was like
I remember looking at that ogre and being like, "You look pretty handcrafted there." I don't know. I don't know. But, you could tell like he was like leaning.
Oh yeah. He had stilts on the whole work.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fun.
Oh, that looks so fun.
Yeah, it was a little neat. But that's how I got the commercials. And to be honest with you, originally they were only supposed to be like little 15-second snippets for the internet, and then they
just like on random websites and stuff like they just get posted.
Primarily for YouTube. You know when the commercials come up,
your little ads,
the little ad. That's
the things people hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But they were 15 seconds. They're perfect for that. Pfizer Canada, I guess, saw the metal puppy one.
Yeah.
And said, "Hey, we want to put that on TV."
That's awesome.
And it turns out it actually won an award.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
That is so cool.
I didn't find that out until like about a year later. And I was like, "Hey, it's my commercial."
Huh. That's unique. That's so weird. Cool. Yeah. So strange.
But and then they called me back again to do the one with the bench press.
Yeah, that one's cool. Is that the newest one?
That's the last one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, it is unique.
Pretty neat. And like I said, that one there, I shot that in, I want to say 2017. Yeah, I think it was 2017. I think it was, it would have been the fall of 2017. And it was playing right up until, spring of 2021. So
that's nice.
Well, I wasn't doing it for the money.
Right.
I was doing it because it was like one of those bucket list things.
Yeah, it's just like an experience.
Just to do it, just to see what was. I had a full-time job, so I wasn't doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I was doing it because I wanted to experience it.
Yeah.
Warm in here.
It is toasty in here. It is very
All
toasty.
the freaking computers.
Yeah. Secretly, Chris is a little bit of a computer junkie, I guess. I don't know how to put that.
A geek.
A geek.
Computer geek.
You said a geek, but I didn't want to, say it to your face. So, but yeah, it's warm in this room.
Yeah,
it is
computer
toasty.
geek. I can crack the window open a little bit more if you like.
You can if you want.
Yep.
Go for it. Yeah, because in 2017 you were still looking huge, like good size. So when did you get introduced to weightlifting? Like when?
Oh, my dad was a bodybuilder.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like
he was
known around New Brunswick?
He was Mr. New Brunswick senior heavyweight in 1973.
That's crazy.
So yeah, he big man.
Yeah.
Big man. He some of my oldest memories are of him downstairs in the basement with his training partner down there working out.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and you just grew up doing it? Was it just, or did you kind of?
Yeah, I guess on and off. When I first joined the military, though, especially when you're like a lower rank, you don't really have the opportunity or the chance to really do what you want when you want. So I was away from the weights for a long time. And then injuries. Then I'd work out for, steady for a year and a half or 2 years. And then I'd stop for 5. Then I'd work out steady for another couple of years. And then I'd stop for another 2. Oh. And, so, it was, but I always felt better physically and mentally when I was
doing
exercising.
It, yes.
So it was as much for my own mental health as anything else.
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable that you were so massive, and just to be walking around on that size.
Yeah.
Because if anybody who needs to compare, maybe at the end we can stand beside each other. We're the same height.
Yeah.
But there's 100 pounds between us.
Yeah, but there's about 80 pounds around my waist here now too.
Yeah. I wish you were 2017, Chris, so then I could.
Fuck, so do I. However, there's a reason for that as well. And that is, I have not been able to exercise since about 2018.
Really?
I injured myself in RIMPAC back in 2018.
Where's RIMPAC?
RIMPAC is the Rim of the Pacific. So it's the big exercise I do out in Hawaii and California and stuff like that. And I was down there for RIMPAC, and I ended up injuring myself. And I wrecked this shoulder. Mm-hmm. And
I just heard that.
Yeah.
That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, this one here is not as bad.
Making music with your shoulder.
That and I destroyed my knee. So
really? And from weights?
No, it was an accident due to the field.
Okay, due to that. Okay.
Yeah, it was a military injury. So, and then to top it all off, when I was in Iraq back in 2020, I ended up contracting COVID. So, this was 2020. That's long before any vaccines.
Right. That's the start.
Yeah, it was. And I ended up with long COVID.
Me too.
And I've still got symptoms.
Me too. My lungs still make noises. I'm like, sometimes I'll just, like, if I go for a run now, it's like my lungs are starting to, like, weave and heave, and then stuff's still coming up, and it's like, what is going on? Like, how does this make sense?
Now, granted, I vape. I used to smoke. But at the same time, it's really messed me up.
Yeah, me too.
Really messed me up.
Like,
I lost my sense of... The only way that I knew I had COVID, because they were telling me, oh, well, you tested positive. Fuck off. I don't really
yeah.
I lost my sense of smell and taste.
That's
and
so strange.
It was the freakiest... I could...
Could you rely on those sensations so much?
But they put us into isolation. We had like a individual... They had shipping containers that they converted into quarters.
Yep.
Anyway, they put us into those and locked us in. So I had a shower and stuff like that. And really, other than like some aches and pains and stuff like that, I just thought, I'm okay. It wasn't until I was taking a shower, and I got out of the shower and I put some pit stick on, and I put it on one arm and I passed it underneath my nose to my other one. I went, I can't smell it.
That's so weird.
Couldn't smell anything, couldn't taste anything. I said, I wondered why all the food tasted like cardboard.
Yeah.
That'd be why.
Makes sense. Yeah, and it's weird that you're like eating something that has no taste because it's like, what am I, like, you're just going with the motion at that point.
You have no idea. Yeah. It was like, this could be kitty litter.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know anybody that got long COVID and still feels like they have issues, and I'm hello, right across from each other.
Yeah.
I still feel like I have got limits. Like, it's weirdly enough, like my energy for a 20-year-old just went down.
I know I still have symptoms.
Me too.
It's not a I feel it's, I definitely do have like joint pain, muscle pain. It's not as bad as like when I had COVID.
Yeah, when I got COVID, I dropped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I was walking on the concrete at the place that I was working at the time. Every time I took a step, it like shocked through my elbows, like obviously my knee and hip and stuff. Everything ached every step, and then like
it's horrible.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It is absolutely horrible.
Brutal.
I just and of course my wife, she was back in Canada. I told her I had COVID, and with all the news that was going on back here in Canada, she figured I had I had the bubonic plague.
Yeah.
As far as she was concerned, oh my God, he's dead. He's gonna die. No, I feel fine. I'm sore, I'm stiff. I don't have a sense of taste or smell. But,
I'm still kicking.
Other
Like
than that, I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, some people bounced back like it was nothing.
Some people did,
which is nice.
A lot of people didn't.
A lot of people didn't.
But,
some people didn't bounce at all.
Some people didn't bounce at all. That's it. But
I'm glad I'm not the only one now, because I was just like, COVID's changed me somehow, and I still don't feel like the same that I was when COVID hit.
Well, from my perspective, I think COVID and long COVID is what was the final nail in the coffin for me for my service. I mean, if I had not been medically released because of my injuries, I still had potentially another 6 years in.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get posted down to Norfolk, Virginia for 4 years.
Well, that's cool.
We were going.
That's awesome.
Going. It would have been great.
Yeah.
But just with all the aches and pains, and then finally talking to the doctor, and I said, I can't do this anymore.
Do you think weightlifting had a correlation to that, though? Because, like,
no,
I just feel like bodybuilding is so much strain.
No, I honestly, I think the only reason that I was able to continue for as long as I did after my back surgery was because I was in such good shape.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the only. I essentially got an extra 5 years out of the military.
That's awesome.
Because it would have ended my career.
I remember hearing somebody say that if somebody's been in very good shape at least once in their life, it helps them immensely.
It's a lot easier.
Oh, sorry.
It's a lot easier to get yourself back into shape
after you've been in shape.
After you've been in shape once. Muscles have memory. Mm-hmm. They remember this. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory
kicking in.
It kicks in, and as long as you had muscles of a certain size at one point, comes back. I am hoping with my physiotherapy and stuff like this that at some point I can actually get back in the gym and do something. Mm-hmm. Because I feel I hate not exercising.
Oh, really, it wrecks you. Like the
does.
First 2 weeks, it's fine, and then once you start just dwindling away slowly, it just all about it. All about it.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah,
you're preaching to the choir
for a long
time. And my worst thing is that I like to eat.
Yeah, that's tough too.
So eating the same way I was eating when I was exercising every day.
Great.
That doesn't work out quite the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fills up.
Yeah. Adds a little bit around the waist.
That's so funny.
But yeah, it was an interesting opportunity for me, being, serving in the military and traveling all over the world, stuff like that. But it's definitely a job for the young.
Well, they say, like, in your 20s, you just got to, I don't know, push as much as you can, right? Because then,
Well, look, the thing
I don't
is,
know how true that is about strength training,
no,
but
when you're 20, 25, 30, that's when you make your bones. That's when people your age, that's where you make your coin.
yeah,
You
build that body up.
Yeah, exactly. You bank everything. You bank everything, every stretch of muscle, every penny you can.
Surprised nobody does that.
Well, no, I'm not surprised nobody ever does that.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't do it because it's hard.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right. You sound like you didn't have a problem going to the gym, though. Like, people struggle to push themselves.
No, I loved going to the gym.
Yeah, that's the difference.
I really did. I really did. Mostly because everybody there were great. They were just nice people.
Oh, man, when you go work out, no matter what type of working out you're doing or style of gym you go into, if you have questions, those people are like, they love that they can give some of their knowledge to you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, there's some really good people.
Yeah.
Some really good people.
Especially in bodybuilding, because that's a different type of community, I feel like. It's like...
It is. It is. I mean, granted, there are certain downsides to bodybuilding as well. You got steroids and shit like that. And
custom shirts. No.
Well, I'll tell you, finding shirts, pants, stuff like that fit you when you're jacked.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because most shirts are like this,
straight,
but you're like
you're
this.
you're a Dorito at that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Your legs are like
I used to get
drumsticks.
I used to have to get all my shirts tailored because if I had the shirt on and I was wearing it just
normal,
without getting it tailored, it looked like I was wearing a frickin' sail. So I said,
little nightgown going on.
We'll get that tucked in there a little bit in the sides and stuff like that. But
yeah, I knew there's downsides. It's I mean, I think people used to look at it was like really healthy, like, oh, you're jacked, you have so much muscle, but the amount that it takes a toll on your body just to be running at that stage, I don't know.
It is very difficult to run to maintain that level of
physique. Would that be the way?
Physique or effort for a long time. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And, most bodybuilders, what they will do is they will train during the competition season, and then during the off season, they'll just let it go. There are a lot of guys in the gym that take juice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A lot of guys.
It was such a secrecy for such a long time.
The thing is a lot of people, they think, oh, it's cheating. It's cheating.
That's the sport.
That's the sport. And the other side of it is that you can only get so big naturally. Mm-hmm. When you take a look at any of these professional guys like Phil Heath or Kai Green and stuff, I can tell you, there is no way that the human body can put that much muscle onto the body without assistance.
Exactly.
It just doesn't happen. I tried stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried stuff. It was a stuff called what the hell was it called?
I know there's called 8-ball.
No. This stuff here, it was a
PED?
No, it was called a pro hormone.
Okay.
And it was oral, and I ordered it on Amazon.
Weird.
yeah, I ordered it on Amazon. I was in Afghanistan at the time, and really, we didn't have anything better to do, so that would have been 2012. Yeah, it would have been 2012. We only worked really half the day.
Yeah.
Because the other half of the day, the Afghans, I was there as part of op attention, Roto
Okay.
1.
Do you mind pulling that a little closer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I was in Afghanistan with Op Attention Roto 1.
Okay.
And I was attached with the Signals Training Advisory Team. And I was advising, the sergeant major of the squadron and stuff. So they do prayers after their meals at lunch.
Cool.
And then usually they don't go back to work. So we're like, well, I guess we got all of our work done for this morning. I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came back and finally I said, I got to do something in the evenings.
Mm-hmm.
So I started going back to the gym again. And I'll tell you, there's an awful lot of guys that got really jacked.
I believe it.
In Afghanistan, a lot of guys. And I came back and I just kept it up. I just kept doing it. And, boys, I tell you, by the time, even by the time I left Afghanistan, the guys are going like, what the hell are you taking? Like, you must be taking something. No.
Yeah.
No. He says, well, your T-shirts were loose on your arms and now they're stretched. I said, muscle memory.
Right. I was going to say, you've been there before.
Yeah, exactly. When I was, 17, I think it was 17, 18 years old, I was still in high school here in St. John. And I was going to Green's Gym up at the Market Square all the time.
Nice.
And I was actually getting ready to compete. I was getting ready.
At that age?
At that age, I was
Wow.
going to go in as a junior heavyweight. I was about 185 pounds, lean, good shape.
You're not allowed anything in your system at that age, are you?
No.
No, okay.
But I was lean, good shape. And to be honest with you, you're not allowed to have anything in your system anyway.
Oh, really?
No.
So not top tier,
Well,
because I always thought
they don't
they don't announce
They
it,
don't
but
test.
yeah.
Like
Because I knew it was a thing, I just didn't think it was just talked about.
The Olympia,
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you, if you were testing any of the guys at the Olympia, they're all on.
Oh,
juice.
absolutely.
However, there are several
Like
bodybuilding organizations. What is it? NPC.
Yeah.
The
Natural
Bodybuilding
Yep.
Federation. And I mean, really, that's where the people that don't want to get into the steroids
Mm-hmm.
move into. But typically, those guys are like the fitness
Right.
rather than bodybuilding.
More of a guru.
Yeah.
than a-
It's more the aesthetic rather than just
Right.
raw muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking for that sculpted, contoured physique.
Yeah.
look.
You want to flow to your look. Aesthetics, yeah.
It's all about aesthetics.
And it's beautiful, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. I
But
think
when you
it's-
think of a bodybuilder, you're literally building parts of your body. So when it's the bicep, there's so much going into that one piece.
Well,
When it's
my
the forearm?
dad once related to me when we were talking about bodybuilding. He said, if you want to take a look at how muscles build when you exercise, imagine you have like a stack of paper, okay? And you exercise, your body releases lactic acid, which eats away that top sheet of paper, okay? Well, within 48 hours after that, your body rebuilds that sheet of paper and says, we're not going to let that happen again, and adds another one. So the next time you work out, you burn off that top sheet of paper,
And then it adds
but it
another one.
adds it
You gotta-
back, and then adds another. It's not quite that.
Yeah.
That,
But it is doing that to a
but
sense.
it's a pretty good analogy.
Where you make your tears,
Yep,
it builds those tears a little bit.
Yeah, it just
higher.
builds it back a little. But when you use something like paper, it gives you an idea just how long it
Right.
takes to build that muscle.
Right.
And I don't care who they are. If they're taking steroids and they're enormous, they're putting the work in.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
it's not like you take steroids and like
it's not a shortcut.
right.
It allows you to get bigger than you could without it.
And there's different
still gonna-
steroids for like size and then like fat loss, right? Like, is there?
I guess I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff for cutting and muscle mass and stuff like that. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, you're really taking your life into your own hands when you start messing with that stuff.
Really?
Well, you know what?
Like, I don't know how much that alters, like, your system. Like, I know it must be.
Well,
I don't know why it's hard, I guess.
Well, the human body is always trying to achieve homeostasis.
Right.
All the hormones and everything in your body.
It's constant trying to balance.
It's always trying to balance it. And when you're adding things, because testosterone's a hormone.
Right.
You're adding that, you're throwing everything off. And when you take in testosterone, your body will convert it into estrogen. And estrogen will result in all kinds of nasty things happening to you. Like you've heard of bodybuilders getting breasts, gyno. That's what causes it. So you gotta be careful what you're doing.
You do. I was gonna ask you if testosterone boosters made a big change, like just those pills format. Like, does that make? Because
well, see, the thing is, anything you're doing oral is all getting filtered with your
stomach and liver and all that.
It's all going with your liver, and you can cause an awful lot of damage to your liver. The only way around that would be injectables, but I don't know too many people like sticking themselves.
Yeah, I think only pros are probably doing that.
I imagine so.
And when you get that money, you're there's like,
well, that's your job.
Understudy or underground doctors that are.
Yeah. But again, when you're a competitive professional bodybuilder, that's your job.
Yeah, you need every inch you can get too, right?
Everything you can get, because you're fighting for a very, 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 very tiny piece of a very small pie. So
a good way to put it as steroids is, say you have your paper, right? You work out, takes a piece of paper, steroid, put a piece of cardboard.
No, actually, it's not even that.
Really?
No. It's, instead of having a maximum of a 300 sheet pile, have a maximum of a 500 sheet pile.
Oh, so it just gives you more range.
It gives you a bigger range.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Neat. Yeah, my dad was always into weightlifting. He loved the sport. He never really indulged in, like, your sense of actually being in it.
Yeah.
But again, our whole basement was a gym. He'd always be working out. He'd always be going for runs. And then he had a whole selection of just like from like 1970s or 80s magazines all the way to 2020. Every year, just multiple stacks in that year of just bodybuilding magazines. Yeah. He was in it.
Well, it's it is almost like sculpting, because you go, I need to work on my triceps some more. So you focus on triceps some more. And get that. So, when you're talking about building, it's not even bodybuilding, it's body sculpting.
Right.
You are literally
transforming,
taking clay and throwing more clay onto your own body and transforming yourself. So it's pretty neat. And I can't complain. I mean, it put me on TV.
Right, yeah, seriously. It got you somewhere. It led you to something.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I was never even doing that for the sake of... I was never doing it for anything other than the experience.
Right. The filming?
The filming.
Okay, yeah. I thought you meant the bodybuilding.
Even the bodybuilding, I was doing it for me.
Right.
I was doing it for my sense of well-being. It's far cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, seriously. Oh man, if everybody if everybody got outside for an hour, or did something physically hard for an hour, you're set.
I left the gym at the end of the day. I was beat.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about bodybuilding too, right? Like you are draining your muscles.
Oh yeah.
Draining.
Absolutely.
To the point where it's like you're ready to sleep. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some people leave the gym and they're just like energized, and they're like, I'm ready to go.
Did I ever sleep well? Oh, I slept so well.
I believe it. Yeah, if I don't work out, I definitely just, I don't know. I'm just laying there in bed, like, eyes open, thinking the whole time. But if I work out that day, it's like I'm going to bed. I'm out.
Well, see, this is another thing with people who don't exercise a lot. They don't understand just
why you do it.
well, for one, they don't really give up. Like I can tell you, I admittedly it was an enormous time commitment for me.
Mm-hmm.
My relationship with my family, with my wife and the kids, is actually better now that I'm not at the gym all the time.
Right.
Because I tell you, I'd come home from work. I'd be done work. I'd drive from work directly to the gym. I wouldn't get home until 7 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd be done work at 4.
Right. And
so,
supper time's important for a family to sit down and chat.
It is. And on top of that, the kids were young at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'd get home and the kids would be getting ready for bed. I wouldn't have seen them since like I dropped them off from school.
Right.
So it's like I need to
it's probably unsettling as a father too, right?
A little bit. Between when it's your full-time job, you can allocate a certain percentage of your time to it.
Well, you'd probably work out like at 11 o'clock until 1 or something instead of,
exactly. Well, I can tell you there was days where, like on a weekend or something like that, I'd go, or Karen would be away, or it'd be a day off from work or something like that. I'd go in the morning or in the afternoon before the big rush hour after work and get it done that time, and then I'd have the rest of the day for the family. Yeah. But it's a big time commitment. It's a big time commitment.
That's the biggest struggle I feel like in life is the balance of time. That's the hard part.
Well, you know what? I don't think anybody really is that great at it.
No. Nobody's succeeded yet. So
no. You know what? You cannot create more time.
Right.
Time is finite, and it was I think I made the right choice in saying, you know what, this is a bit of a blessing in disguise. Yeah. I'm going to look at it from that perspective. Yeah. I've added a great deal of weight.
But muscle memory can kick in.
Yep, absolutely. But at the same time,
so you think like now that you're not old, but as you get older, like do you think you could maybe implement exercise, like maybe do some yoga, stretching, that type of stuff, get your body moving? I don't know, like
Karen wants me to try yoga. To be honest with you,
don't knock it because I did it for a year.
No. You know what? I've got a friend of mine. He is a diehard yoga fanatic.
Really?
Loves it. He and his wife. He's out in Calgary. I would never have in 1,000 years have ever thought of him as a yoga guy. And he loves it. He does demonstrations and oh my God, it's just phenomenal.
That's
so
awesome.
Shout out to a buddy of mine, John Adams, out in Calgary.
John Adams?
Yeah. But I've thought of it. I don't know what my body is going to be capable. Like I said, I was medically released from the military. Mm-hmm. According to the Army, or according to Veterans Affairs, I'm 113 or 123% disabled, something like that.
123?
Yeah.
What's
between
the minimum disabled that you can be? Like,
well, no, I like you can be 5, 10, 15.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm considered completely disabled.
Wow. For military standards, obviously.
Yeah. But even for government standards, like
really,
I'm putting in for the disability tax credit, and I'll probably get it. Between my feet, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, my back. I'm deaf. I'm blind, bald. What more can go wrong?
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had this knee operated on twice. I've had my back operated on. I've had my shoulders done. My feet are all messed up. That's 38 years of walk around in the cheapest bid for the Canadian contract. Mm-hmm. So.
So what's day-to-day life like for you with all that? Like, what time do you wake up usually in the morning?
Well, now
Yeah.
Oh,
10 a.m.
no, because my daughter's taking
still.
classes at NBCC and still doesn't have her driver's license.
Oh,
So
great.
she's got to get into school.
Yep.
And then she's got to get into work. So,
But if you're waking up at, say you're waking up at your 7 a.m. or whatever.
I'm getting up at about 7 or so.
Yeah.
I get up at about
And
7
then
a.m.
are you waking up without pain or are you waking up with
Oh,
pain?
no. I get up and the first thing I do is take my pain meds.
Okay.
You know. Oh, yeah. Okay. I take morphine. I take.
Really?
I get. I take that usually at night, just because it helps me sleep. Because all the aches and pains and stuff like that. Celebrex, Tylenol.
Advil, cold and sinus.
Well, actually, I can't take that with Celebrex because it's
Really? It'll just counteract and.
Well, no, they'll actually bump heads.
Huh.
They're both they're called NSAIDs.
Okay.
So you can't take two different types of NSAIDs. Cool. So if I take Advil, I can't take the Celebrex. If I take Celebrex, I can't take the Advil.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But you know what? Look, at the end of the day, any of the medications that I require are paid for by the military.
Right.
So
that's nice.
Good. I had never expected, but I was pleasantly surprised with cannabis.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about CBD or.
Yeah, I use cannabis. I've got a medical prescription for it.
That's cool.
My wife has a prescription for it. Veterans Affairs pays for it. I take a lot of CBD.
Really?
Oh yeah, I take a lot.
Like the oils or the.
I use capsules. I like the capsules.
Right.
I find it's much more
effective. Would that be?
Well, I don't like smoking it if I can avoid it. I mean, yeah, I vape, and you know what? I smoked cigarettes as a kid.
Yeah.
A kid. I smoked cigarettes when I was like in my 20s and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't like the taste of it. I don't like the stench that's on there all the time. It wasn't until I stopped smoking cigarettes and started vaping
that I realized
just how much cigarette smoke stinks.
Yeah,
it's like
it stays on your skin and stays.
Somebody walks in from the smoking area, walks past, just like, whoa.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, whenever I smell it, I just get the biggest headache.
Yeah,
and
it is. It's gross. But you know what? I got to tell you, stuff works.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
it really
people look
works.
at CBD like it's weirder or something. It's like it's the same thing as like an Advil. You know what I mean? Like it's still chemicals and still.
It is, but it's natural.
But it's a natural chemical.
And you can use it with medications. So I can take Tylenol, Advil, and CBD, or Tylenol, Celebrex, and CBD, and get the benefits from all of it. So I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that helps you out.
And you know what? I gotta be honest with you. I enjoy THC too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. I find that it doesn't get rid of pain for me. What it does is
distracts you.
It essentially, it kind of distracts you from it. I tried to explain it to my wife. I said it feels like I've got like a hazy fog over my joints, and I know they're there, but.
It just feels like there's like a little foam outline around it. Yeah.
It doesn't really feel there, and it's neat that I can. Yeah, you know what? This is. I don't think it doesn't really do anything to the pain. I think what it does, it increases our ability to tolerate pain.
Right.
More than anything else.
Yeah. Well, have you ever worked out high before?
No.
On THC?
No.
Well, a lot of people say that when you do it, you actually feel the muscle.
Oh yeah.
Like their focus is more on the muscle, and they're more focused. Yeah. I mean, that's what they say. I've never tried it, but
I could see that because you tend to get very
centered on one thing.
Centered and focused on one thing.
Like if you're watching a movie and you're baked,
Yeah.
you're watching the movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody starts talking to you, you're not worried about
No,
what they're
no,
saying.
Of course, you might not remember the movie afterwards.
True. Depends how much you're...
Depends on how much you had.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it was a big surprise to me that I actually enjoyed cannabis. I honestly didn't think I would.
It was just never a thought kind of thing for a while?
I was never big into weed when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think I smoked weed like once when I was like 17. It was like, meh, okay, been there, done that. It didn't really do anything for me. It wasn't until it got legalized,
right?
And my wife and I were posted to Kingston at the time, and on the day it was legalized, I went out onto the back deck, and I lit up a joint, and I went, I never thought I would ever see the day.
Yeah.
On a military base,
That's so crazy.
A military housing building, smoking a joint, and it's legal.
That's crazy.
It was weird.
Yeah, that's strange.
It was a hard one to sort of wrap my head around.
Yeah, I remember my first time ever, like, smoking cannabis and didn't feel anything. Nothing.
No?
Just was like...
Try some of my cookies.
Yeah, the edibles is where it gets you.
Yeah.
That's where you got to take a day off and just...
Well, it's funny because I made a bunch of ginger molasses cookies.
Cool.
Really good.
Yeah.
And I used probably close to...
What a weird combination. Ginger and molasses.
Well, it was good though. But it was I used probably close to 4 ounces of weed in
the batch?
In the batch. Now, it was a quadruple batch. It was 4 times the size.
Right.
But I used like 4 ounces.
That's so crazy.
Anyway, they turned out spectacular. And
was there much of a weed taste in it?
I don't find it. My wife said she can taste a little bit of weed. I can't. However, last Friday, there was one cookie sitting in a package out on the island. And Paul, the fellow that's doing our painting, he was painting. And anyway, he brought a bunch of donuts and stuff for the kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, my wife went out. I went upstairs. When I came downstairs, Karen was here, and Paul was gone. Paul gone? Yeah, I guess. My wife got a text from Paul's wife and said, please contact me. It's an emergency. Oh, it's a contact. She goes, what's wrong? I think Paul's having a stroke or something. I said, what? Yeah, he's throwing up. And I said, what? She goes, well, did he eat anything? He says, no. He says, all I had was one of those ginger molasses cookies from Costco. Karen goes, we don't have any ginger molasses cookies from Costco. She went, oh.
That's so funny.
So, he says, we got a good laugh out of it. He came in Monday. He goes, I lost 2 days, or lost 2 hours. They're gone. I have no idea what happened. He says, he got home at about 4 o'clock on that Friday. He slept 18 hours.
That's so crazy.
Oh, yeah. He slept.
That's so crazy.
He slept well. Indica couch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, indica couch.
Yeah,
sativa, outdoors, in the sun.
He was out.
That's
anyway,
crazy.
so
and has he ever smoked or...
Well, yeah, he normally smokes up a little bit on the weekend.
That's a heavy set cookie, though.
Well, as soon as he said he ate the whole thing, I went,
oh, that's your problem. Yeah.
yeah.
The problem with when you do batches like that is it's hard to scale how much you're getting in.
This is the thing. Like whenever I make something, I'll do all the math and figure out how many milligrams in the entire batch. And if this is an entire batch, if I break it down to this, okay, each cookie's
roughly
200.
Yeah.
And it works out. I think each cookie is about 200 milligrams.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, it's good. I'll eat a full cookie myself. But anybody that's not
Experienced.
not a regular consumer,
Yeah.
might want to have like maybe a quarter or a half.
Because I know, a quarter would still knock you up pretty good. 50 milligrams is still a heavy set of...
yeah, that's still a bit of
Because
whack.
10 milligrams does a lot for some people, right? Like they take those little
Some
chocolates
people,
and then...
Some people do. Yeah, I gotta admit, I enjoy it. It's a good relaxation.
Yeah.
For me.
It's extremely beneficial for a lot of people.
I don't get hungover in the morning.
Yeah, that's...
Because I'll tell you, when I was 20, when I was your age, go drink all night and then go fire artillery the next morning.
Right, yeah.
Hungover, but, still.
You can still work.
It still worked, but it was uncomfortable. As I've gotten older, it takes me longer and longer to recover.
Yep.
To the point now where if I get too drunk, it is like a 2-3 day recovery period.
Yeah.
Weed next morning.
Yeah,
right
you're
as
fine.
rain. Right as rain. So that's the benefit of it in that respect, I think.
You don't dream when you're on weed, do you? Have you
Not
noticed?
that I recall. Not that I recall.
Do you use it pretty regularly?
Yeah.
Because if you were to get off it for like a week, your dreams would be the most vivid things in the world.
We went down to Disney for Christmas and couldn't bring any weed with us. Didn't bother me.
Really?
Yeah, no.
That's funny. Yeah, I know some people that are like really into coffee, and then they took a week off coffee, and sometimes they're fine, but then sometimes it's like whole different experience.
I enjoy a good coffee.
Yeah?
I do enjoy a good cup of coffee.
Are you an expert in coffee, making it?
No, I wouldn't say I'm an expert.
Because some people are really infused with the whole process and grinding.
My daughter works at Starbucks.
Oh, so she knows the drinks. She knows the drinks.
Oh, yeah. I hear her ordering something at Starbucks. I don't even know what the hell she's saying.
Yeah, it's a different language.
What the hell did you just say?
Comes out with this pink drink.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Seriously.
I know.
It's like, what the hell? Yeah. No, it's like an entire different language. But no, I do. I enjoy a good cup of coffee. And it's,
and a good joint.
yeah, a good joint. Yeah. I don't really... I can honestly say that I don't really drink anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still have a drink every now and then, but really, it's more just a sip.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I've never really drank to get drunk. It's more of a oh my God, I'm drunk.
Yeah, right. You're kind of just drinking away, and then eventually you're like, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, and unfortunately, many times in the past, when I was younger, it'd be like, ooh, if I have any more, I might get sick.
You might yak.
Yeah, oh well.
Yeah. And then wake up, go shoot artillery.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
That's funny.
But no, I enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's one of my few vices, I guess I should
say. Outside of working out,
Well, I can't hit the gym anymore, so
right.
Might as well find something else.
Yeah.
Get stoned and jump in a hot tub.
Do you guys have a hot tub?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You're set.
That was my wife's retirement gift to herself.
Nice. Hey, you got to treat yourself sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of warm water, have you ever tried cold water? Cold plunges?
As a matter of fact, I have done that. When I was posted to Germany, I lived in Germany for about 4 years back in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And in Baden-Baden, Baden is German for bath.
Oh, okay. Baden-Baden.
It's all geothermal hot springs.
Really?
And in Germany, you can actually get a prescription to go to the German baths.
Right on.
And we went to this one place. It was called the Friedrichsbad in
the Friedrichsbad.
Friedrichsbad.
Oh, Friedrichsbad.
Friedrichsbad.
I'm gonna just stop.
Yeah. But anyway, we went to the Friedrichsbad, and it was like a Roman bath. You take a look at the place, and great big Gothic Corinthian columns in front of it. Just real old building. It looked nice. But anyway, you started and you walked in, and the first thing you did is you went into a warm, dry sauna. Then you went into a hot, dry sauna. And then you went in and they scrubbed you down, and you went to a warm, moist sauna. Then you went to a hot, moist sauna. And then you went all these things. And then once you did everything, it came all the way back to the beginning. And before you were done, there was, it was like an immersion bath. It was like 2 degrees Celsius. And all you do is just dunk yourself and get out. Anyway, you go in and you dunked yourself in. I climbed out, and every pore on my body was tingling.
Yeah.
And then they wrapped these big heated blankets around you.
Oh.
And then they put you into a great big room.
Like a big sauna room?
No, just a big quiet room. And you just lay down and go to sleep for like half an hour.
That's so cool.
It was great.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Yeah, hot water and cold water therapy is huge now. And doing both at the same time is like a lot of times I'll hop in the shower and I'll make it freezing cold.
Yeah.
And then I'll make it really warm. And then I'll make it cold again. And then I'll make it warm. Because it's just like, I don't know, it bounces back and forth. And
well, I'll tell you, it'll help your heart too.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why is that?
That shock.
Oh, true. Yeah, it's like ramps you right up.
Whoa.
I actually heard that if you just splash your face with a bit of water, and you're like overthinking or kind of depressed or anything like that, it takes that right away.
Well, it changes. It changes
alters your brain. Yeah, your sense of
brain chemistry. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I actually saw that same. Really? I think it was on. I think it was a. It may have been a TikTok.
Yeah, there's so many clips, right?
Yeah, there's so many clips. But I think it's fantastic.
Oh.
You know, absolutely. But I mean, there's all kinds of things. Say if you have an apple instead of a cup of coffee for breakfast in the morning. You know,
cucumber water.
But no, but having an apple will do more to wake you up in the morning than having a cup of coffee.
Neat.
I don't know if that's really true or not, but they say it is.
There's so many weird things. Like they say, like you don't even need to drink water as long as you eat your fruit and vegetables. It's like you're getting all your moisture, and it's like, well, you still. I feel like you need to.
I enjoy a nice
cup of water,
cold glass of water.
True. You're a big ice guy, aren't you?
I am. I do like ice.
I like chewing on the ice, but I don't like it when it's just like I don't know. It's just I don't know.
My wife loves ice. So we specifically went out and got a fridge with an ice maker in it.
Yep. Game changer, man.
Well, we had one of those little countertop ice makers.
Right.
But you always had to add water to it all the time. So like this one here, it's hooked to the water line.
Push the button.
Yeah.
Boom, comes out.
Click, 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 and then right under the water and
yep.
work. Nice.
Top-notch stuff.
Nah.
You ever see those? I walked into Best Buy like last year, and I remember just looking at one of the fridges, and the whole thing was just a big like screen, like one of the doors was just a whole screen, and there's a button that you could press, and I think it like showed the other side of it, so you could see what was in there without opening the fridge.
I'll show you if we're done.
Oh, is that what you have? Nice.
I'll show it to you. We got it simply because we got it because our other fridge died.
Oh,
but so why not?
That works. I just actually fixed our freezer. We have like the fridge that or the freezer that you pull under.
Yep.
The whole back had like this thick of ice on the back and underneath. So I had to pull everything out, put it all in a cooler, and then I had to let that just melt.
Yeah.
It had to sit there all day.
Pretty much the only thing you do, unless you want to get like a hammer in it.
I did do that. So I let it melt for like, I don't know, probably 3 hours. And then I got a chisel and it just came off like a slab. And I did it on the back, came off like a slab. And I was just like, that thick of just ice.
Yeah.
It was because the ice maker machine got too full. And then it
dropped ice cubes
kept
back.
Making, and then it just kept doing it. And that was our own fault.
Yeah.
So whenever it fills, I just shut it off. And we're all set.
Yeah.
Another big part of your life, the military.
Yeah.
And you were a master warrant officer?
Yep.
So I was looking into a little bit of the rankings, and I didn't really spend that much time. I just know there was so many.
Mm-hmm.
And like, let's just get into your position, I guess. A master warrant officer. What is your role?
Well, my trade, I started out as a radio technician. Or actually, let's go back to my very first days in the military.
Sure.
I started out here in St. John, actually, with 3 Field Regiment, 115 Battery in the reserves.
Cool.
So I was a 17-year-old high school kid in St. John High, and on the weekends I'd go blow shit up. It was
That's
great.
sick.
Anyway, when I graduated, I went into the regular Army as armor, tanks.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I blew my knee out, and they said, well, you've got two choices. You can either go to a non-combat trade, or you can get out. I went, I guess I will. I guess I'll go into a non-combat trade. So it was at that point that I became a radio technician, and then the entire communications and electronics branch went crazy, and I went from a rad tech to an LCIS tech, which is land communications and information systems tech, which is really the same thing as a radio technician, just different name. And then I became an ASIS technician, Army Communications and Information Systems Specialist. And then I became an ASIS CISTM. And then I became CISTM LCIS. And then just before I released, I became a SIG tech. All the exact same job. Just they're changing the names and
Ton of names.
yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
So, I guess that's what you did for a while now.
My job was essentially as a corporal and stuff like this was maintaining communication systems for the Canadian Army, whether it was radios, computers, radars. I fixed, the ADATS, Air Defense Anti-Tank System. I used to fix the radar on that. I'd fix the computer systems on it. Pretty much anything that's electronic.
You're touching it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy.
So
Did you have your own crew and a workstation kind of thing, and you just?
Well, once I got to a sufficient rank, yeah. When I got promoted to Master Corporal, which is the first sort of leadership rank, I got posted to Kingston, Ontario, out of Gagetown, actually, and I was posted to the school. And my job while I was there was actually teaching young technicians, like teaching the basic electronics course. So I was the directing staff for that for 4 years. And when I left Kingston, I left as a sergeant. So as a sergeant, I went back to Gagetown, and that's where I worked with 4 Defense Regiment as their section head for the tech maintenance. So it was a neat experience.
Yeah, that is awesome.
It was nice having some troopies under me.
Yeah.
You know, the downside is that I enjoyed the job as a technician, and it is an unfortunate truism that as you go up through the ranks, they move you farther and farther away from the bench. So you don't have as many opportunities to actually get your hands.
Yeah.
This is why I do this stuff, is to keep my hands in it. I enjoy doing that stuff. I enjoy fixing stuff. I enjoy, I won't tell you, there was nothing better than fixing a snag that nobody else could fix.
It's like a puzzle, right? And
it is.
You're figuring it out.
It really is. It is. And it's all fault finding. It's learning how and why things work, and taking the system and splitting the system in half and saying, okay, this half, this is good, this isn't, so it's in here, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
that's so nice that you can implement that to so many other things, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You built your own PC,
Everything.
and that thing's a wild piece of machinery over there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Chris is a top-notch guy, guys. Just so you guys know.
Well, that's that system there. That was sort of my retirement gift to myself. I bought that. Well, granted, I just upgraded it again, but that was my Christmas present to myself.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The monitor's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got 2 monitors.
2? Yeah. Technically, I got 3 because another one inside the case.
Which case? What am I looking
inside
at?
That case there? No, we'll show you all that stuff after that.
Oh my goodness!
But like I said, it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
However, as I moved up through the ranks, I had the opportunity to actually, I don't want to say make policy, but I could influence policy. When I was in Toronto, when I got promoted to Master Warrant Officer out of Gagetown, I got promoted from Sergeant to Warrant Officer. I went to Afghanistan. I got promoted to MWO after I came back from Afghanistan, and got immediately posted to Toronto. And in Toronto, I was what is called the Foreman of Signals, which means essentially I was the chief technician for the Army in Ontario. Cool. Which it was nice. It was fun, challenging. Some good little adventures. I went to Resolute.
Wow.
Yeah, way up in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like little adventures. I went to RIMPAC. Went to
Yeah.
like so little things like that. But I think at the end of the day, for me personally, I think I really enjoyed fixing stuff. Technicians, by and large, we were not really like you see like Full Metal Jacket and stuff like that. You see, what's his face there, Lee Emery, friggin' Lee Emery there, the guy, in Full Metal Jacket. You ever see Full Metal Jacket?
No, I don't think so.
No,
So when you
okay.
said, I was like, I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
I can't. Does
Lee
that make
Emery,
sense?
he was.
I don't know who.
He was Gunny.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, people think it's like that. It's not like that, and even more so for the technical trades. You're coworkers. You're working with each other,
Right.
So really, it's not. It's not the place for super formality. Once you start getting up in the ranks, you're dealing with, I worked for a lieutenant colonel. So when I'm talking with him, I've got to be, I can't
Top notch.
I can't talk with him like I would with my buddy.
Right.
When I'm talking to him, I'm presenting a point of view or an argument in support of one decision or another. So it had its ups and downs. It had its pluses and minuses to it. But all in all, I enjoyed the job.
Good. It's nice to be in a little bit of a leader position because
It is.
if you're able to handle it and you enjoy that.
Well, I'm sure. Have you ever heard of the Peter Principle?
No.
The Peter Principle states that people will rise to their highest level of incompetence. So you will keep on being promoted until you are just completely incompetent.
Really?
Okay? And then you'll stop there. I like to refer to it as the septic tank theory. That's the big pieces float to the top.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Just with like any other organization, there's nepotism, there's favoritism, more than a little bit of bias sometimes.
It's human nature in any work field, right?
Absolutely. But you know what? I got to be honest with you. I was surprised I got as far as I did. I never expected to get. I hoped that I would have gotten promoted.
Yeah.
But really, I never really expected
Right.
it.
You're pretty content, it sounds, with where you were.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I won't lie. I would have loved to have gotten promoted to chief.
Right.
I would have loved that. But it wasn't in the cards.
Yeah.
Too old. Because, well, by the time the trades and everything moved to the point where I possibly could get promoted to chief, well, by that time I was too old. I mean, I spent, 12 years as a corporal because the entire decade of the 90s, there were no promotions. If you weren't number one on the merit list, and then only maybe, you weren't getting promoted.
That's crazy.
So,
because I was going to ask you, what does it take to get into those positions? Like, what do you...
sometimes it feels like it's an act of God that's needed to get you into them.
Well, what are they looking for? Like, when you want to go up your ranks, and
Well,
Because you're trying to get to captain.
Well, every year, well, captain's in the officer side. I was an NCM.
Okay.
NCO.
Okay.
So every year, from the rank of corporal up, and from the rank of lieutenant or second lieutenant up, you get a personal evaluation report, a PER. Mm-hmm. It's your report card. So you get scored with dots, which translate really into between 5 and 10 points per dot, and then a bunch of other criteria that are in it, and it goes through a matrix, and then they come out with a score for that, and it goes up against everybody else at the national level, and they put them in order, and if you make that little cutoff, you get promoted. If you don't, you don't. So
simple, but harsh at the same time.
Well, the thing is that sometimes the people that are making those selections are a little bit biased.
Biased in how, in what way, like, can they be biased? Like different troops or different, I don't know how that exactly works.
Within the technician trade, let me rephrase that. Within the communications branch, you have operators, you have technicians, you have linemen. Now we've got computer technicians.
Yep.
So, by and large, most command positions for the NCOs were all manned by the operators. Because the technicians, by their very nature, were always far fewer than the operators. So we never really got the opportunities to move into those leadership positions. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's in the past now.
No, well, see, as a corporal technician, we made what's called specialist pay. So I actually made the same as like an infantry sergeant as a corporal.
Cool.
So a few extra shekels in my pocket. I didn't care. And less responsibility and more, same money.
Yeah. Same money. Yeah, no issues.
I can't. It works for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't mind being in the military. How are we making for time there?
Oh, we're fine. Yeah, okay. I was just checking my sheet here just to see.
I think personally, it would be. I know it would never happen, but I think it would be fantastic if every single young person going through school did like a 2-year stint in the military after they finish high school. Because by the G's, I'll tell you, if you want to learn self-reliance, self-confidence, man, there's no better way.
That's crazy.
There's no better way.
You answered my question out of my head because I was about to say, what has the military taught you as an individual?
Yeah, it taught me self-reliance, self-confidence. It taught me organizational skills. It taught me a trade. So,
true, yeah. I mean, you're getting paid to go learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I, in spite of all of my injuries, and I got a lot of them, I have to say I've been remarkably lucky. I had a good career. I worked with some great people over the years. Worked with a few that were not so great too.
Yeah.
But, the overwhelming majority of them were just fantastic people. Really, really, just salt of the earth. God, they're good people.
The people that when you walk through the door, you're excited to see them. Those kind of people.
Yeah. No, they're just really good-hearted people.
That goes underrated, I think. When you say like you're just a good man or a good human or a good person, it's like that's all we want. And then when you meet you're just a good. I just like you. You know what I mean?
You're pretty cool. But like I remember when I noticed the differences, I think, was when I came back from Afghanistan. Now, I'll tell you, when I was there were people on that tour that I did not like, that I did not get along with. And I'm quite certain they did not like me either. However, I had absolutely no doubt in my mind that if push came to shove, they'd be right there beside me, putting bullets down range if it was needed.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I would with them.
Right.
So
it's like a brotherhood, right?
Yeah, everybody,
you fight, but then when it comes against each other, it's like, or someone conflicts with that for others, it's like, no.
No, everybody had each other's back.
Right.
And you knew it. So, you know what? That I've never really experienced that
type of relationship
in any other environment.
Right.
It only happens when you're deployed in a war zone, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we only got attacked like twice, I think, the entire time I was in Afghanistan, so it was pretty minor. Iraq, we got rocketed regularly. That sucked.
Yeah. We got to move now.
Yeah. Well, no, the thing is we couldn't.
Really?
No, because where we were set up pretty much across the street from the U.S. Embassy. I remember I flew out of Kuwait on the 2nd of June and landed in Camp Taji, which is about 30 clicks north of Baghdad. On the 3rd, we got onto the helicopters and we flew from Taji into the helicopter pad at the embassy, and then went across the street to Union 3, actually. Wearing a shirt.
Right on.
And on the back there, Union 3.
Yeah.
That was our camp.
Yeah.
So anyway, we landed in Taji, went across to the base, got ourselves into our rooms and stuff like this, and this was the 3rd of June.
Mm-hmm.
The 5th of June was a Friday, and we got rocketed for the first time. And I didn't know what was going on. All I heard was the alarms, and I woke up, and the first thing I did is I looked around, and I grabbed my body armor, and I threw it over my head, and it came down and caught me across the bridge of my nose. It's like, grab my helmet, grab my pistol, grab my flip-flops, right up to the... Oh, geez. Oh, what a schmozzle. Yeah, that was... Yeah.
It was an awakening.
Yeah, it gets the blood moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 2 in the morning, I think. So, yeah.
Man, adrenaline would have been just pumping. Like, you're just... You're ready. You're on edge now.
Yeah. God love her, my wife. I'd text her incoming, and she'd text me a picture of her boobs. I said, you realize that I'm in a bunker with 100 other people.
Yeah. Chad is right beside me.
Yeah. Well, they were.
Right.
Help their mood too.
Yeah, let them enjoy it.
Yeah, let them have a little.
Yeah.
But
going out with a bang.
yeah, literally. But yeah, it was interesting. About I guess it would have been July. I think it was July. They moved a couple of Sea Rams or Sea Whizzes in. You've heard of the Phalanx? Have you ever seen those?
No, I don't.
The anti-missile point defense system on like ships and stuff.
I know. I can picture it.
It's like a Gatling gun.
Yeah. Right. Oh,
anyway,
yes, exactly.
They brought in a bunch of those and set those up. And
can those be underwater?
No,
they can't.
No, they're either mounted on a boat or they're mounted on a trailer.
Okay.
In this case, they mounted them on a trailer and they had them there to cover our butts. But then,
and the guy running that thing is...
Well, the big challenge after that was that the Shia militia groups that were the ones firing the rockets at us, well, then they were going like, okay, let's see, how can we beat the system? So for like about a month afterwards, it was just constant barrages trying to defeat or get around the anti-rocket or anti-missile system. So it was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Good luck.
Get a little tired now.
Yeah.
Because the system only attacked missiles or rockets or mortars or whatever that were incoming into the camps.
Oh.
So they'd fall outside.
Yeah.
Because the computer would say, "Oh, no, that's not a threat." Boom! Outside the gate, and
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a rude awakening.
But what's their goal with that? With trying to
Just to cause trouble. You gotta remember that these are all Iranian-backed Shia militia groups.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other organizations over there. But the SMGs tend to be the ones that are causing a lot of the problems. And, of course, they don't like the Americans.
right.
So, yeah.
But what are we trying to regulate over there?
My job over there was actually, as the operations sergeant major, was basically the day-to-day running of everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But the mission itself was a training mission. So the NATO countries were there to train the Iraqi army.
Oh.
So they were there training them in modern warfare, I guess, more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember that all their training was all like Soviet era stuff. And we can see from Ukraine just how effective Soviet mechanized combat tactics are working for them.
That makes sense. It's not working.
It's not
No.
working for them at all.
Yeah.
Like if NATO was to go up against Russia today, it would be like 1,000 to 1 casualty rate. Because they don't know how to fight a modern war.
Right.
They're still using the tactics they used back in the Second World War. Just throw we'll just throw 1 million people at it, just overwhelm them with bodies.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like standing in a field with 100 men on each side.
It doesn't work that way anymore. And really, the drones.
That's a game
showing-
changer.
It is. It is.
Game
It's
changer.
Unbelievable. I got to tell you, I was really surprised at how quickly they ramped up that whole. What's the word I'm looking for?
The whole process of it? Or
Well,
the whole...
they had it fine tuned,
Oh,
just like that.
yeah. Like they
mean, my
modified
God.
it day after day insanely.
Well, when I was watching them, they took the little 3D printed fins to put on, and I mean, you could see it hanging off the, swinging and hanging off of the, and watch it right into the trench, right into the
That's so
right
crazy.
into the hatch in the tank.
Yeah.
So I'm like, these guys are good,
Extremely accurate.
They're well practiced.
Which is why it's like, I couldn't even imagine World War III happening.
Well, you know what? Ironically enough, and my mom and dad can even tell you this. They said, "You're gonna join the army?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "What if there's a war?" Well, if
Part of
there's
the
a war,
job.
it's
Part of the
part
job.
It's part of the job. I said, essentially, I'm gambling that there's not going to be a war in the next 20, 30 years. There were a couple.
Yeah.
I actually went to a couple.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, I was pretty fortunate. I mean, I've got a lot of friends of mine who were combat troops, infantry, combat engineers, artillery. A lot of people were injured.
Oh, I believe it.
Injured, a lot of people killed. I got off light.
Yeah.
I got off really late.
You can kind of stay in the shadows a little bit in your
Well,
position, right?
as a REMP, rear echelon, I wasn't on the front line all the time. I wasn't there. I wasn't on the front line at all, really. It was the combat arms guys that
Yeah.
were, getting
The heat.
Yeah. And boys, I'll tell you, they were getting a lot of it.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
So, like, back in the days, if you were still in your position, but you're, like, front line, would you be one of those guys that have, like, the radio?
No,
talking back to the...
No. My rank as a master warrant officer, as a technician, I'd never be really into that. If I was ever put into a situation where I was in combat, there's a lot bigger things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Because
They're just pulling men at that point. Yeah.
If I'm in a position where I've got to shoot,
Yeah.
We're in a lot bigger problem.
A lot of walls fell down before us.
We've got a lot bigger problems than that.
Yeah. But I was just wondering, I guess you did say non-combat position, but I didn't know if there still happened to be times.
There's always a risk.
Right.
I mean, look, when it boils right down to it, the first job of any soldier is to close with and defeat the enemy.
Right.
You know, our job is to be a soldier, to shoot and kill.
Yeah.
Our trade is the other thing we do.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it was good experience. Good experience. I would do it again. I might do it differently, maybe a few things, but you know, I really can't.
We got some dogs.
Yeah.
I bet you that's picking it up.
I bet you it is too. You can hear it. Yep, it is.
Oh, that's funny. Dogs are going wild.
Dogs gone wild. Yeah.
Dogs gone wild.
Yeah. Luna, she's a barker.
She's a barker.
Is
she loud but gentle, or?
Oh, she barks to say hi.
Yeah. Beautiful dogs, though. You have two beautiful dogs. Luna,
Well,
what kind is Luna?
She's a German Shepherd as well.
Okay.
They're both German Shepherds. They're both purebred.
Oh.
Odin, however, he's
Oh, maybe it's Odin that I'm thinking of.
Well, Odin's a big male.
Hmm.
His ear, he got a thing in his ear, and now it's all flopped over.
Mm-hmm.
He used to have nice straight ears.
Yeah.
He got a toe, and he had an infection in his toe, and had to have it amputated.
Oh,
Yeah, like when he was 6 months old. You know.
poor guy.
Well, the vet says, "Well, what do you want to do?" The dog's 6 months old. What do you mean? What do you want me to do? You know, actually, it was funny because I was actually in Toronto with my daughter to go to a concert, and my wife was home with the dog in Kingston, and when she brought the dog to the emergency, you know, she says, "Well, you know, it's going to be expensive." Karen said, "Have you ever seen the commercial with the guy bending the puppy, my puppy?" She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, that's his dog. That's his puppy."
That's funny.
So I don't care how much it costs.
Right.
Fix him.
Fix it.
You know, and ironically enough, by the time she got home, the dog had to stay there overnight. By the time Karen got home, they phoned and said, "It's a good thing you came when you did. He wouldn't have lasted the night."
Wow.
So he was deathly ill.
Oh,
Deathly ill.
poor pup.
Yeah.
As bad as it says, it is. I think puppies look so cute when they have the wheels in the front of them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just think it's the cutest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you got to feel bad, and it's like, oh,
Well, yeah,
but
but-
I just think it's so cool. You know, rolling in, turning around, rolling back.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just
yeah.
looks
But
amazing.
yeah, he lost his toe.
It's crazy. Back foot, front foot.
Front toe.
Front toe.
I think it's this one, right paw. But
Due to what? Due to
infection. Just
just.
stepped on or in or something, and it got infected, and
So strange.
yeah.
You gotta be very careful with dogs too.
I was pretty upset,
Oh, I believe
you
it.
know, because Karen brought Odin to the vet that afternoon, and she said, "Oh, he's fine." She goes, "Well," she said, "I don't know. There's no mechanism of injury." She goes, "Oh, he'll be fine." Sent him home. And Karen says, "Well," she says, "you know, like, you might want to, like, do antibiotics." No, he'll be fine. About 5 hours later, she was at the emergency,
Yeah.
and he was almost dead. So
Crazy.
Needless to say, I was not impressed with that particular veterinarian.
Yeah, I have a story like that. I actually had a dog drown on me.
Oh,
So
really?
I tried to save it, and it went down the waterfall, and I jumped after it. And
Waterfall.
Yeah,
Eesh.
wasn't a big waterfall. Just
No,
a,
it doesn't
just,
have to be big though.
But there were some sticks in there. I didn't want to jump in myself and just go gone. But I was on the edge. I was holding on with the current pushing me, wanting me to go over.
No doubt.
So I had the fur and dropped, and she got stuck under. Must have freaked out. Took a gulp, and
Yeah.
anyways, I'm calling. I say, "Hey, dog's leaving." Like I'm driving, and
Yeah.
hey, I got a dog leaving me. Like it's still breathing,
Yeah.
struggling. She says, and it was 5 o'clock on the dot.
Yeah.
She says,
we close.
Nope, we close in a minute. I said, I'm going to be like, I'm 10 minutes out. Like, I'm going to be there. She said, no, I'm going to have to transfer you over to Riverview, which is half an hour away. And I said, my dog's gone.
Well, you know what? Emma took one of her rabbits up to Moncton. I think it might have been up to Riverview for the vet. It was the only 24-hour.
Yeah,
vet
yeah,
that was
right.
open
That's what
on-
they said.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it's 5 o'clock. Like, you guys
Apparently
can't stay.
Apparently, they have one down at Parkway now.
Okay,
Another emergency veterinarian clinic.
right on.
I think it's like right beside Wacky Wheatley's. So
It's a hard thing to have something like that for 24 hours, though, which I understand.
yeah,
Because the
it is.
chance of an animal and the amount of events that's going to happen
Yeah,
is very slim. I feel like you're going to be spending months with just like overnights.
perhaps, but they get paid very well to do it too.
True.
So, if that's your job,
Yeah.
sounds good to me.
Take some accountability.
Yeah. No.
No, I agree, though. I agree.
Accountability is look. There's a lot to be said about accountability, responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the problem these days is that people don't take responsibility for themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to take responsibility for anything.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely becoming more scarce nowadays.
It is, but one of the critical, one of the critical points of leadership is seeking and accepting responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can't even accept responsibility for yourself,
Right. Right.
well, I'm sure as hell not going to give you responsibility for everybody else.
Yeah. It's rewarding, too,
It is. It is.
taking responsibility for yourself.
It is.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't think that's talked about a lot. I really don't think so.
No, it's not.
You don't hear any discussions about, like,
Well-
what kind of responsibilities are you in charge of right now as a life standpoint, I guess.
Well, you do, but usually, most people refer to the people that are saying this stuff as misogynists and,
Yeah,
and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, we have to accept responsibility for our own behavior, our own actions, and for those that we're in charge of too.
Yeah, I was gonna say even our own countries have responsibility.
If we're in charge of something, we're responsible for everything that you take a look at let's look at the Prime Minister.
Mr. Trudeau.
He is responsible for the economy. He is responsible for air travel. He is responsible for
Money.
everything. However, he doesn't like it when people say that that's his responsibility.
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole other.
Yeah, you can get into.
That's a whole other can of worms that I just.
It's like you want to avoid, but you can't. Because if you don't, then
it's facing everybody right now.
right.
We're in 6% inflation.
Mm-hmm.
My God, how do people live? I mean, I've literally noticed it on a week-by-week basis. Going to the grocery store, coming back, and going, "What the hell is going on here?" You come back with 2 bags. It's like $180. Like,
right.
What did I buy? Oh my God forbid! I bought a pound of hamburger.
I know. I was in a kitchen like last weekend, and a university student comes in and was like, "I just spent $15 on a 3-pack of batteries." I said, "You spent $15 on 3 batteries?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you used to be able to get that for like $2.99." You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything is more expensive.
Wild.
Everything is more expensive.
So I do snowboard instructing and stuff, and today somebody said, "Yeah, we're in shrinkflation."
Yeah.
And he's like,
"Well,
products going down."
Have you looked at the size of even cookies?
Yeah, just tiny.
Like when I was growing up, you've seen wagon wheels. The wagon wheel.
Yeah.
Wagon wheels were enormous. They were like that big around.
And in the package, it was like it was pushing out the package. You know what I mean?
And now it's the size of a like an Oreo.
Yeah, and you like can move it around in the package.
Yeah,
and
like, yeah. But that's the way of things. Well, we're going to sell you it for the same price, but we're just going to make it smaller, so we don't have to give you as much product. Well, you know what? That's just as bad.
Mhm.
Or
we could avoid the wagon wheels. We also have that choice that they don't tell us about.
Yes. There is that. But you know what? Look, at the end of the day, I think Canada will be fine.
Oh,
I have a lot of faith in Canadians.
Me too. Canada as a whole, I think, is just I don't know. We have a structure there that's I don't know how to explain that.
See, a person can be smart. People are stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think one person runs the show?
Look, the level of cognitive dissonance that exists in Canadian society today is just beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, take a look at crime. It's running rampant. We have inflation running rampant. We have we're getting taxed to the hilt. How do you reconcile everything that's wrong or seems wrong with this painting of Canada that we look at and say, oh, it's such a great You know what?
It's like
we can be good.
Go down a layer.
Yeah, we've you got to scratch that shiny veneer off a bit.
Yeah,
we got a lot of work to do.
We do,
and I think we're getting a little bit off topic, but I voted for Trudeau in 2015 because I took him for his word. He said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this.
Plain and simple.
Proportional representation, gone. Lifetime pensions for medical pensions for veterans, gone. He worked a little sleazy little trick with that, and it just went on and on. And I blame it on the day job. I just have a lot of intolerance for liars.
Yeah.
And
he was just not a man of his word, basically.
I have never seen the man answer a freaking question. I've never seen him answer a question. Never. It's always a whole bunch of verbal diarrhea, word salad that says nothing.
Right.
It's like, not only did he not answer the question, but what he said made absolutely no sense.
Right.
He's talking about something completely different.
I know. There was just I just watched a video of a argument in the Parliament building, and the guy was asking, "Hey, how much is the average house cost for the average salary of a Canadian?" And the man gave 16 different answers.
Yep.
I'm not even kidding.
Yep.
He stood up, gave the answer.
Yep.
To something not related.
Yeah.
And then the next guy stand up. How much is the average house cost for the average Canadian salary?
Yep.
Whatever. Stands up again. Doesn't give the answer. And they did that like 20 times back and forth.
Yeah, it's theatrics.
Right.
It really is. It's theatrics. I hope that at some point people are going to start holding their political leaders to account. I have to admit, I am rather opinionated.
That's all good. You're entitled to it.
Yeah, but I've got some pretty strong opinions.
Yeah, but I think that's what changes the world. So
yeah, maybe.
I think that's important.
Maybe.
Because some people don't have opinions at all.
Or they don't voice them.
Right.
They don't voice
So that's a problem too.
It is.
But I have to admit, it's hard to run and control 50 million people.
It is.
That's a battle.
Yeah.
And it's hard to have opinions on things that you're not in that position to have. Like, you know what I mean? It's there's so much. You need a voice, but it's I don't know.
Well, let's take a look at a case that was in the news today. A 17-year-old kid was arrested for trespassing because he went into his class and he was not allowed to go into his class because at his Catholic high school, he said that, in my opinion, and according to my religious beliefs, there are and have only ever been two genders. And this is at a Catholic religious high school.
Right.
And they said that it was offensive to the two transgender people that were in the class in the Catholic high school, which, again, I'm trying to wrap my head around. So rather than allowing him his religious beliefs, he was arrested. Tell me that's right.
That's so strange.
It is. You tell me that's right. That's not right. That's not right.
No.
If somebody's...
Sorry, I'll tell you. No.
Yeah. No, but I mean...
No, that doesn't seem...
From the perspective of a person's beliefs based on their religious upbringing, is that this is the way things are, according to my beliefs. Well, those are really hard to change. Because those are core beliefs.
And people that don't have beliefs, it's hard to understand what it's like to have.
Everybody has a belief. It might not be a religious belief.
True.
But everybody has a belief of something.
Yeah. I don't believe in anything. It's like, well, you believe in nothing then.
Yeah. No, but I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, there are so many people out there who, I mean, how many genders are they at now?
Yeah.
You've got that teacher with that ridiculous...
Oh, that's all good. You can keep talking.
Oh, anyway, they had that teacher with that ridiculous prosthetic breasts. Have you seen that one?
No.
In outside of Toronto?
No.
He is a male shop teacher, and he decided. And to be honest with you, I think he's just doing it to troll the school.
Right.
But he's wearing these enormous prosthetic breasts with the nipples sticking out. I mean, it's a safety hazard. But the school won't do anything about it because, he's a transsexual. He says that's so it's like, okay. When did the lunatics start running the asylum?
Yeah.
I mean, like, guys, we've got to be realistic.
Right.
Oh, God. I could go on for hours.
No, but what's the long picture of that, though?
Well,
what's the long picture of everybody thinking...
What are they trying to accomplish?
Right.
Okay?
Like, I just don't know what 10 years of that would look like,
I don't think anybody knows what 10 years of that's going to look like. Nobody knows yet. And I think it's going to be... I think there's going to be a big reckoning for a lot of people. Particularly, I think, on the more liberal left side of the political spectrum. The problem that I see is that if you look at the political spectrum, they talk about right wing and left wing, and that communism and Stalin is way over the left, and Hitler and dictatorships are on the right, and as you move more to the right, you're more radical, and more to the left, you're more radical. Really, isn't from my perspective, it's nothing like that. It's a big circle, because if you go far enough to the left or far enough to the right, they both end up at authoritarianism.
Right.
So okay, maybe we need to look at something a little more centrist. The Liberals used to be the centrist party of Canada. Not anymore. They out-left the Greens and the friggin' NDP now.
Right.
So, we've got to we've got a pickle.
We do.
We've got a real hard time coming for this country, and I think a lot of the other countries that are out there too. That are stuck in this. I don't want to say woke.
That's how it's been
maelstrom, but
mentioned. Yeah, just like this woke world or whatever's going on.
It is almost a storm of wokeism, and see, I'm used to rapid changes in how things are done because in the military we were always very reactive, and we always went from one side, boom, way over to the other. Reality was somewhere in between, but we were always an organization of extremes. More and more, I am seeing society itself as being very similar to that, in that it goes from one extreme right to the other.
Yeah.
Reality's somewhere in between. I think we're on one of these pendulum swings right now.
Yeah.
And we need it to come back down and just hang around the middle for a little bit so that people can start getting their wits about them and say, okay, yeah, all right, this I am sane.
Right.
The world is not completely crazy. An XY chromosome means that you are a man. XX means you are a woman.
Yeah.
Yes, you can go and have surgery to have things added on or taken off, but you will still have an XY or an XX chromosome.
Yep.
Maybe instead of having, even in the military, just before I got out of the military, they were starting to put their pronouns after their signature block.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Like him, her, him, he, she, her.
Were they required to do that?
Yes. It's mandated.
See, that's so insane.
I know.
Well, Jordan Peterson, that's his biggest argument. I shouldn't be confounded by law to have to refer to somebody.
I agree with him.
And I agree with him too.
Yep.
It should not be, you should not tamper with the freedom of speech, which is what they're trying to do, right?
You cannot compel speech. You can't do it.
Right.
I'd rather just keep my mouth shut than to say something that I've been compelled to say. I think that we are on a very slippery slope as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
But you take a look at C11, the I guess you would call it the censorship bill. I mean, you might be able to make it okay, get a bigger, wider base of your Canadian content.
Yeah.
But when it boils right down to it, I don't like people telling me what I can and can't see or watch on TV, what shows I can and can't watch. CBC, nobody watches CBC. Come on. There's nothing entertaining on there.
Right.
And whenever there's news, it's just a shill show for the liberals.
Right.
I mean, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
If I was getting $600 million from somebody, I'd do exactly what they want me to do too.
Yes, sir.
But
money talks.
Money talks, bullshit walks.
Yeah.
And it just
No, it drives me bonkers too. It's
well,
there's so many variables with everything, and it's how do you figure out the solution?
Yeah.
That's kind
But
of.
you know what? You're only 20. You've got a lot more of this stuff to deal with than I do.
Oh, my grandparents tell me all the time. They say I don't want to live in the world that you're living in. They tell me all the time. Well, not all the time. It's not like every conversation, but they've sat me down. And they said, "Listen,
Mitch, I don't know. I don't even understand the world you live in. Honest to God, it's like
it's different." But I don't know what it's like to live in the world you guys lived in. So
I got to be honest with you. I have to think that life really was far simpler.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Well, I think the reason why this whole trans world is happening is because we're spending so much time in our heads now. We're not doing, right? You're not moving. You're not running around. It's sitting here, and the only thing that's active is this.
Idle hands.
Right.
Devil's plaything. And I think in a lot of ways you're probably right. We had 2 years of lockdowns where people were sitting around stuck twiddling their thumbs.
Right.
And
Why do you think suicide rates were just boom?
Oh yeah.
If
No,
you're moving,
absolutely.
if you're moving and doing,
Wow.
your body, mind is usually
If you keep yourself mentally active,
right.
it can do a lot for you. You know, look, I suffer from depression.
Right.
I do. I'm on medication for it. You know, being in pain for close to 30 years will do that to you.
Right.
You know, and then as time goes on, pain increases. It wears on you like a saw blade.
Yeah.
It just cuts into your heart. But you know what? I understand how and why anybody can be discouraged in this day and age.
Right.
I get it all the time. You know, it's
It's tough.
we got a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah.
Or let me rephrase it. You've got a lot of work ahead of you.
Yeah.
I am done contributing to society. I'm retired. I don't have anything. There's nothing anybody wants from me anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're just washed up now. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's still so
Pretty
much.
much.
There's still so much you can do.
Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't really have a voice that.
That's listening.
Well, yeah, I know, but at least when I was in the military, in a position of leadership, I had the ability to, if not implement change, I had the opportunity, like I said, to at least influence it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't lie. I'm sitting there and I was watching the TV and watching the news stuff. I can tell you, I was half tempted. I said, you know what, maybe I'll run for freaking office. Maybe that's what they need in Ottawa, is an old crusty retired sergeant major up there. The only thing is you know, a question period. All right, fucker. that probably wouldn't work.
No.
you know, fucker, the gender neutral friggin' term the military's used for like 150 years.
Yeah.
Listen, fucker.
Yeah.
You know, but it just frustration.
It can be a headache.
It does. It can. It's not good.
I don't know how. Yeah, there's so many questions. I think about it constantly. I don't think most 20-year-olds do, but
let me just tell you this.
It's like a constant search for a solution, and it's never.
If you start trying to figure it out now, at 20 years old, you have a hell of a lot better chance of figuring it out by the time you're my age.
Yeah, I'll definitely have some experience under my belt.
Yeah. And look, a couple of decades of experience under your belt will hone those opinions to. It's like yeah. No,
well, I remember,
that's just wrong.
You know, when I was working like in my teenage years, it's like, you know, some people would be talking about tax and just all this stuff, and it's like, I don't even give a crap. But then they're like, you know what? In 10 years, that's the only crap that you're going to care about.
My daughter, when she got her first paycheck, she goes, they took out this much money for tax? I said, yep.
Yep.
And she goes, holy crap. And then she went to pick up her prescriptions at the drugstore, and for some reason, either my medical insurance or her medical insurance, my wife's medical insurance, hadn't been processed yet, so she had to pay for it out of pocket.
Oh.
And she goes, that's how... I said, yes, that's why when you get a job, you make sure you get one with medical insurance.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't have free pharmacare in Canada, at least not yet. I said, you've got to be able to afford all those things. She goes, well, what? I said, food, heat, lights. You know, she wanted to move back to Kingston, go to St. Lawrence College for another course in like a year or two. I said, where are you gonna live? She goes, oh, I'll live with a bunch of the girls. I went, huh? All right, okay.
Do you know how much that is every month?
You gonna pay for rent? You know how much rent is? Yeah. Okay. You know, heat, lights. How you getting to school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Activities.
Tuition. You know, all of these things. She's like, oh my god. She's finally starting to realize just how expensive life really is.
Yeah,
you
money's
know,
huge.
It sucks.
It does suck.
You know,
I ever since I was a kid, I started working when I was in grade 6. So
Wow.
Yeah, young. Yeah, I didn't have like much of a childhood.
Yeah, well, working at 6, that's...
No, grade 6.
Or grade
6.
Working at grade 6, so you would have been...
That was first year of middle school.
11, 12?
Yep, 11 or 12, yep.
Wow. Paperboy?
Nope.
No?
Do you know a company called Commercial Tents?
No, I don't recognize the name.
So they're event festivals.
Oh,
and they set up
okay.
huge tents. Anyways, I worked in the shop for like 2 years and then, until I was in grade 8. And then the summer of grade 8 going into grade 9, I started working on these road and big jobs, and I was just one of the guys. It didn't matter.
Oh.
I was only, well, I went into school. I was only like 14, 15.
With a paycheck.
With a paycheck, yeah. Oh man, I was making good money for when I was that age.
Hey, look, when you're 14 or 15, if you're making $20 a week, you're doing good.
Right. No, and I was making enough for the summer and to provide me throughout the school. When I was young, I could only bank 30 hours, right?
Yeah.
So I was getting paid till like January.
Oh.
Because they would just bank it,
Yeah,
and then I just keep getting paid every 2 weeks till like
Sweet.
January, February, and I was just like, I'm making money.
Making some serious bank.
And then you're not taxed under that age, right?
Kid, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the rule was for me working at that age, but there's something I could do that.
I think, I'm not really sure how the rules work for that, but still.
I got my money.
Yeah, you got your coins.
So, anyways, in high school, the thing to do was to go out about because we got freedom for an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 20 minutes of just go to shop at Pita Pit or whatever restaurant you wanted to go to. So everybody would do that. I did that for 1 week, and I looked at my bank account and I said, never again. And I never left the school again. And I played ping pong, and I had my little sandwich. I didn't care about anything else. I was like,
bring a lunch with you because
I was like, these kids are spending $10 to $15 every single day.
But it's not their money.
I know, but still, I didn't care. I was like,
their parents were spending
even if my parents gave me money, I just pocketed it.
Yep.
I said, I can use that in the future.
Yep.
No worries.
Smart way.
Right.
But you know what? Look, it's all about convenience.
Right.
Look, I think part of our societal problems has a lot to do with instant gratification.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Don't know something? Well, you got a freaking phone. Look it up.
Google it up.
Can't afford it? Borrow the money. Got a credit card? Put it on that.
Yeah, that's insane.
And
borrowing the money is insane.
And this is the problem. Nobody is willing to do the work in advance to get the reward. Everybody wants the reward before the actual work. Nobody wants to be patient. Everybody wants it now. Mm-hmm. And boys, I'll tell you, that's what's gotten us into this whole predicament right now.
Right. Well, I was talking to my girlfriend. I said we were in the store and I was getting a few items, and I was like, all right, I gotta get some stuff. And she looked at that and she was like, that's how much that was? I said, listen, the world's only been running at this rate for 20 years. I said, how long do you think we can keep this up? Not long.
No.
So I was, and that's like an example why I want to get into hunting, because I had a hunter that committed his life to hunting. That's all he cared about. Didn't care about anything else. Worked, hunt, like studied deer on his own, like self-educated.
Yep.
Anyways, he was like, I'm always interested in people that grow up into hunting but are never, or that didn't grow up into hunting but get into hunting. Mm-hmm. And he's like, why did you? And I said, because one day I'm not going to be able to walk in that grocery store and pick up a slab of meat. Probably not to that extreme, but I was just like, what if there's an opportunity where I don't have that chance? You know what I mean?
As far as hunting goes, I dare say that hunting is the only sport where you will spend several $1,000s
to get the
equipment and so on and so forth to get a couple of $100s worth of meat.
True. But some people take one gun. That's all. That's it.
And the thing is if you know how to hunt,
right,
you will always be able to feed yourself.
Right. and there's tons of ways to hunt.
Yeah.
This guy never does. This guy I talked to, he didn't believe in stands or bait or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then now he does stands because he's old. Yeah, but
I get that.
but like he could do it without it, right?
Yep.
And that's what you kind of want to be able to do. People with bows
Yes.
still crouch right up.
Oh yeah,
20 yards away.
Yeah. I had a good friend of mine. He got a deer with his bow there last year.
Right on.
And you're not far away.
Right. No.
It's close.
Yeah.
And even the deer he got this year with a rifle, he was only maybe 20 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay,
Yeah.
good meat.
Right. Oh, it's best meat.
But I mean, as far as hunting goes, it's very similar to fishing. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, you fed him for the rest of his life. Hunting's the same way. If you know how to hunt,
You're set.
You're set. You can provide for yourself and your family because one deer is an awful lot of meat.
Yep. Help you out for 8 months.
Yeah. Well, you think about it. A steak, a good cut of steak right now. What they have, I think I saw a picture of one they had at Sobeys. It was a roast or something for like $80 some odd or something like that. I was like, who's buying this stuff?
I know.
And I won't. I must admit that I do enjoy a good steak.
Oh man,
I enjoy a good steak.
I love steak. I love steak.
Like Costco, get their big rib steaks, barbecue. I do a reverse sear. Oh, great. What you do is you take the steak and you rub it with a little bit of olive oil.
Yep.
And you put some Montreal
What's the
steak.
olive oil do to the steak? How does
Well,
that?
oil is to keep it from getting dried out, right?
Oh, keeps it extra tender, I guess.
What you
right?
do is you take the steak and you rub it with the olive oil, just a nice light coat. Put some Montreal steak spice on it. You put it onto a rack and you put it into the oven at 220 degrees.
Okay.
And you put a meat thermometer into it. And you keep watching it until it reaches about 120 degrees. And you take it out. And then you throw it on the grill. And then you raise the temperature up to about, well, medium is about 130, 135. I'll go to maybe 140 degrees inside. But the nice thing about it is that you end up with a steak. Have you ever noticed how when you look at like a medium rare steak, you have what they call a bullseye effect? The outsides are well done, and they get
then it's a little brown.
medium, then medium well,
right.
then medium, then well,
and then red.
Then red. Well, when you do the reverse sear, you end up with basically a crust on the outside, and then the entire thing, not red, but pink or medium rare all the way through.
Oh.
And just delicious.
I always wondered how they get it like that because
That's how they do it.
I knew the outside was just this nice crust, and then the inside was just this perfect one line.
Yeah, and that's how they do it.
Cool.
Reverse sear.
What's like the 7 seconds on each side? What's that?
Yeah, well, that's the sear. That's you're sealing in all the juices and stuff.
But some people just do 7 seconds each side, and that's
they
it.
do it, and that's it. I wouldn't do that. I'd do a little bit more.
Raw meat's a big thing now.
Well,
people are really adventuring into the raw meats. But some people enjoy it cooked.
Fad. I enjoy a well-cooked steak.
Me too.
I do.
So I work for a university, and that gave me a big perspective on food, because talking about meat, like the chef there, he took out a huge box like this, and there's pieces of pork that are just half the height of me.
Entire leg.
Yeah, two of my legs together.
It's
like massive. I'm like, what are you doing with that? He's like, oh, you just slice it up. Each student gets a slice. It's like insane. And 5 of those things. Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? Anyways, he gets these little boxes of vacuum sealed steaks.
Yep.
And he always gives me a box when I run out.
Yep.
And they come with like, I don't know, 25 steaks in a box. I'm like, wow. And sometimes he gives me a good deal, you know? Sometimes a gift.
Well, considering that we're all going to be eating bugs in the next 20 years, so, you know,
bugs and rice.
Yeah, bugs and like mashed up mealworms and shit.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, we'll just be drinking water.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'll be eating deer.
Yeah. Stick with the meat.
Yeah. But yeah, it just we've got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I think right now. I think we've got a lot of problems to solve, and I think anybody who thinks that they have the answer, that they alone have the answer, are full of shit. Because it's going to take all of us as a country to solve these problems. It's not the left, it's not the right, not the center. It's the entire country.
Right.
You know, one of our big problems is that we're a northern country. There's snow on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, half a year there's snow on the ground. We need heat.
Right.
You know, we need to be able to keep ourselves warm. We need to keep ourselves fed. We need to be able to travel. We can't, well, maybe dog sled for half the year.
Yeah.
But I mean, we need to have vehicles. I don't think, you know, things like electric vehicles. I think eventually, perhaps, but we don't have the infrastructure for that right now. California was having rolling blackouts last summer because of the heat. About that. And they're going to be completely electrical vehicles by 2030, 2035.
Yeah, 2030 is what I heard.
Their infrastructure can't handle the electrical grid right now.
Right.
So
how are you going to add more?
How are you supposed to add a couple of million electric cars to that? Well, Canada? Good luck.
Well, Elon had a plan where they had a certain amount of area that they were just going to implement with, like...
That's all fine and dandy for Elon.
Yeah.
Okay? But
it was enough charge to power America, apparently.
Well...
But I don't know. I have no idea. You know more because you're on the technical side.
Yeah, he may have been able to do that if he was to get permission.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that in a lot of cases, the technology just isn't there yet.
Yeah.
We don't have the technology needed for a lot of this stuff.
And don't forget, oil fields aren't going to take that too well, are they?
Well, no, they're not. And the thing is, right now, okay, Canada is responsible for, I believe it is somewhere in the vicinity of about 2% of global greenhouse gas emissions globally.
China's 98. Just kidding.
Well, China, India, and I think it's the United States are responsible for like 90 some odd percent. Seriously.
Wow.
So, you know what? I don't care what we do as a country in Canada until we can get China and India on board. Whatever we do is not going to make a bit of difference.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we crushing our economy for them? I don't get that.
Yeah, I guess it makes it feel like that, doesn't it?
It does. Now, Canada, luckily, we are blessed with incredible natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
The oil sands, we've got natural gas, we've got the third largest oil reserves on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what?
Wood.
Yeah, wood. You know what? We should be leveraging this.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that they did not commit to providing liquefied natural gas to Europe. That's a no-brainer.
Mm.
I mean, my God, that's a no-brainer. We can take Russia completely out of the equation, and we can supply them with clean natural gas power.
Right.
China, instead of sending them coal, they're building new coal factories. Even Germany's building coal factories now because they're looking for fuel.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at going back to coal. Well, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, we should be using our natural resources to the best benefit we can.
Yep.
Until the day comes where I can fill up my car in the same amount of time it takes me to fill up my car now.
Yep.
I'll stick with fuel. I'll stick with gas, because I don't want to be able to have to sit around for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour for to be plugged into charge, assuming that there's enough chargers available that I can plug it in when I want to charge it.
Well, I feel like there's a long-term plan to like.
Might be
take charge of our time and like control our steps.
Mitch, I am sure that there are master plans somewhere. Well, this is all how it's going to work. Well, you know what?
It's like they know 20 years from now. Yeah, I know.
You can say, but
there's definitely people above the presidents making some calls. You know what I
mean? and this is the thing is that I don't think they've actually looked that far into the future. They're just electric vehicles are so dirty to get the actual materials to make.
Yeah.
It's worse than a freaking
internal
combustion.
You're making more of a dent in the world.
Oh my God, it's horrible. And to top it all off, half of the mineral resources that we require for all this stuff come from China, Russia. So we might want to look at it another way of doing this. But yeah, it just I am. I'm a little grumpy.
Yeah. That's all good. No, there's so many questions to be asked. There's so many.
Yeah, and
it's unbelievable.
I don't have the answers. I don't think anybody has.
I'm trying to find a clue.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a clue.
Well, there's all kinds of hints out there. I think it's going to take, like I said, a concerted effort by everybody. To come up with a solution that's going to work.
It's unbelievable. Man, it's just like it doesn't make sense because it's like humans can do anything in the world. We can literally do anything. We can become.
We can go to the moon.
Yeah, we can love all each other.
Yeah,
we can also hate all each other.
Well, the problem is that
then
there tends to be a very thin line between love and hate.
Yeah, true.
Take a look at how many people who loved each other till death do their part, and now hate each other. So you know what? People are fickle.
Human nature, though, right?
Well, yeah,
human nature.
It's part of the human condition.
Yeah.
Well,
too many variables.
Yeah.
We can come to an end, though.
Yeah.
This camera's rolling.
Much obliged.
No problem.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Hope we get to do it again sometime.
I hope we can too. Nice. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, it would be nice.
All right, nice. Chris Beckingham, everybody. Thank you for this episode. The cameras were all screwed up during this recording. I got like new stuff, and I feel like I screwed everything up. Maybe people in the viewing it might not mind it, but
that's fine.
Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, my pleasure.
Rock on.